You know how I love PvP, right? And how I made Lava Lord basically as overpowered as possible just for fun. And I basically spent millions doing it, but I made him as perfect as can be. You know, I actually had other PvP build ideas too. It just didn't get completed because I could either not find the parts or because I didn't want to spend that much money. Today we're going to be talking about the ultimate 150 Mage build. And this one would cost me a ton of money, and I did try to make it, I just couldn't find the parts for it. But I'll show you my process for planning out PvP builds. Now as you can see, I listed out all of the equipment slots and my notes on them. So we'll start from the top. So there's not that many good damage helmets for a mage at 150. So we're gonna be smart and use the super OP defensive helm, which is the Godly Bear helm. The only downside is you're gonna need all 6 of them, or at least as close to godly as you can get. Gloves, Ancient Beastbone for the Firebolt, no contest. Shirt and Pants Obsidian because they give the most fire magic, and you can't get Dragon Lord yet either. Boots, Ancient Beastbone for Firestorm, no brainer. Main hand, you're going to want to use a Mighty Blaze Wand for the focus buff, and then after you use that you switch to the Void Grimoire. Now doing that means you have a main hand with 375 focus and 300 fire magic basically. That's crazy. And that's the thing about casters, is that swapping gear is really effective. Now, we get to the offhand. The thing I wanted to do with this build is I wanted to make a mage that didn't have to rely on freeze, and I also wanted to make use of an essence blade, just for fun. So for this build, we're going to go from an essence blade into a bastion shield, just to use the 1k heal on the blade. Because, you know, skill swapping is good. But note that from the heal, you only get 875 health, because equipping the Essence Blade means that you're going to have 20 less vit than if you had equipped the shield, so you have to take that into account. Little things, but it's definitely still worth it to use the blade for that heal, even though it's reduced in effect. Ami, we're going to use the Sky Prism Twilight for the 300 focus and resistance buff, then we're going to switch to a Star Gems Snow Spirit Ami, which means we will get, what, 500 focus, 420 resist all, and 200 defense. Pretty nice stuff, right? Majestic Elements Charm, we use that for the 108 focus and 7 bolt. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky. The bracelets, there's a ton of good choices for mages, and we're going to be doing a lot of hot swapping. So we got the Sky Prism Ascension bracelet for the 300 focus buff. Then after we use that buff, we'll switch to the Crag bracelet for the attune. And if we need it, we'll use the lore. But if we do the math and we can get the person's resistance to 0, then there would be no point in using the lore. It would actually be harmful because he'd be vulnerable for a split second. So if we can get him down to 0, we'll just jump straight to the Aggie bracelet after that. Bracelet 2, this is going to be kind of hard because you can only hot swap the first bracelet, so you're going to have to go into your inventory to do it, but it's definitely going to be worth it. A 300 Vit buff. Now the thing about that is it increases your max health, and people have always said that the Sky Prism Glory bracelet is useless, and I pretty much agree. But since the skill lasts for 15 seconds and the duel's 10, that means you have 0 to 5 seconds to get that single tick. Now single ticks can be anywhere in between 0 and 5 seconds, so that's a complete variable. But in duels you take a ton of damage in the first few seconds, and I think it's still worth it if you could pull it off. And of course after that you go to an Aggie bracelet, because no good base stats on that brace. Ring number 1 for swapping, Paradise plus 6 attune. It has bold on it too, but we're not using it for that. These things in the parentheses is what I'm actually using the item for. But yeah, after we use attune, we'll jump to the Firestorm. Now we can use an Imperial Firestorm if we wanted to, but we're keeping the perfect stuff in mind for this. Ring 2, Inferno Caster. I could use an Imperial Firestorm and get more skill points, but I don't think I need the skill points. So we might as well take the armor and focus. Ring 3, Wood Shrine River, gives a ton of health, and some focus too. An Arachnus Sorcery for the 100 focus and 50 resist all. Pretty nice ring. Pet, of course we're going to use the Fire Phoenix, because we get focus vit, some resistances, and a nice lore skill. Bear, it's something I like using because it reduces damage taken and it gives you vit too. I know it's strength, but I don't think an elk is as effective, especially when we are a mage with no lore for that. You would want a 15 health kite over, say, a 100 armor kite, because of all the vit buffs you're using. And yes, the buff will stack, so you'll get over 2,000 health from that bracelet alone. Because it's not a direct health boost, as proven in my kite video. So unbuffed from the gear, you'll get 1008 focus, 285 vit, 480 HP, 200 defense, 203 armor, 592 resist, 500 to any resist of your choice with a Godly Bear Helm, plus 17 the Firebolt, plus 16 the Firestorm, plus 1304 Fire Magic, 660 physical attack evasion, 660 spell, and 360 wound. Mid-fight we'll switch to the shield, which will give us 20 more vit, which we probably won't be able to use, but I'll just mention it anyway. 250 armor resist and 300 more physical attack evasion. The buffs we have are 200 focus, 300 focus and resist, 300 focus, 300 vit, 6 attune, 6 lore, bear, and the 15% health kite. After that, for the important stats, we'll have 1808 focus, 892 resist, 585 vit, 12 attune, and 6 lore. Our health will add up to 3,718.75, assuming that we do not put any points in vit and we're full focus, plus 15% on the vit gear and base vit. We get 4,276.5 health, which rounds up, which is nice. And we have 745 free points from being a level 150, because you don't count level 1. And if we went full vit and used the health kite, we'd have over 10,000 health. That's pretty crazy. And we also have 13 unspent skill points. So after all those buffs, and assuming we went full vit, we'd have 10,111 health, plus a 1,000 heal from the Essence Blade, plus the Bear Shield skill, plus Energy Shield if we use the points on it, or if we're quick enough and hot swap rings for it, but I don't think I'm that crazy. 1,818 focus, 2,804 fire magic. We have level 50 Bolt and Storm with the corresponding Beast Bone increases. 47 attune, 41 lore, plus the Phoenix lore. Anywhere between 453 to 953 armor, and 1142 to 1642 resist, because of the Bear Helm. Our damage at level 50. Now keep in mind, we're assuming that attune is level 50, because that's the only thing I can find a formula for. If you're quick enough, you could swap in a plus 3 something to get to 50 normally. So yes, this is possible. We'd have a 6,649 Firebolt and a 7,752 Firestorm non-crit. The ideal rotation, now this is along with all the swapping. You get the dual request, use the kite, use the glory brace buff, you wait for a signal tick, you accept it, and you switch the Glory Brace to an Aggie Brace to get the focus and bolt. Blaze Wand buff, because it's 30 seconds or less the longest, you use it first. Switch that to an Aggie Grim, use the Brace buff, then you put on the Attuned Brace, but don't use it yet, just for the focus and stuff. Twilight Ami buff, Snow Spirit Ami put on, then you use Attune, then you switch out that Fire Attunement ring to a Fire Storm ring, and dependent on if you meet the lore requirements or not, you'll use a Crag Lore Brace or an Aggie Brace. Dual starts, use lore and then Phoenix, because Phoenix does fire damage and the fire lore will help increase that damage. So if you do it that way, then you'll do slightly more damage. Then you do Bolt Storm. Now you can use the Essence Blade heal to animation cancel to run away while healing in the process. And while you're running, you swap to your shield, use Bolt, and use the Bear skill to animation cancel out of that, run, and then I'm not really sure what happens after that, but you'll probably destroy the person. Now the pros of this build is very high offense and defense, 1800 focus and 10,000 health, and a crap ton of armor or resist, and you can use the run tactic as a caster because you're not forced to auto or attack close. But the cons are, there's a ton of swapping, it's mainly interruptible because you're using actual health instead of an energy shield. They could hit you, and things like Firestorm or Lure might not work properly because of that. It's extremely expensive because of all Lux, Sigils, high tier gear and all that. Essence Blade, Kites. And you'll probably be out-resisted by some high levels. People with like EDL sets and such. And especially if somebody uses Reaver Rings, you're screwed. But Reaver Rings will destroy any mage that's given at this moment. But I thought I'd share that concept with you guys. It's a really good build. It's not very economical and is nearly impossible to make happen. I got kinda close, but I couldn't find a godly Firestorm, some of the mighty things, or a majestic Elements charm. But maybe someday, we'll see. And if anything, at least it shows you how my system works of planning things out, and a little insight into some Mage PvP and tactics.